Today we're going to make delicious barbecue chicken in the wood pellet grill, Spatchcock style. Let's get started. Hello everybody, Chef Bob here today, and today we're going to make a delicious barbecue chicken on the pellet grill. We're going to make it spatchcock style, and we're going to use a dry rub. It's simple to do. It allows us to get more seasonings and flavors on the inside of the chicken, and it might be your new favorite way to do it instead of, say, a beer can chicken or a whole chicken. So I'll show you how to do it. It's very easy, and all we really need, we have our chicken. This is a fresh chicken, or you can have one if you bought a frozen one. Make sure it's thawed out. And you'll just need either a sharp knife or poultry shears. I'm going to use some poultry shears. It makes it a little bit easier, and we have to cut out the backbone. Now I've rinsed this off, and I also have some dry rub we'll talk about in a minute. So we just take our chicken and we take our poultry shears right here, and we cut out the backbone. So we're going to cut it out on each. We don't cut down the middle of it. We cut down on each side. So you just insert your shears and just cut through it like this. Simple as that. That's one side. Now we'll go down the other side of the backbone. Now, save this for making your chicken stock. So you can just put this in a bag and then put it in your freezer, and when you collect enough of these or other chicken parts, then you can make a delicious chicken stock. So don't throw that away. Save that for chicken stock. Now, sometimes it'll make it easier if you also cut through the wishbone here. So I'm just going to go in here and clip it. The wishbone's right here, so we'll just go and clip that. Okay. Now, this is it. There you go. It's as simple as that. That's our spatchcock chicken. What did it take? About a minute. Okay, now, what I'll do is I'll take the dry rub, and I'm just going to, now what I like to do is, I mentioned in my other videos, I like to buy the salt-based rubs, not the sugar-based. Those are typically the two main varieties of rubs when you buy them. There's usually a sugar base, like a brown sugar base, or a salt-based. What I like to do is buy the salt-based rubs, and then I have options. If I just want to use the salt-based rub on whatever I'm making, I can just do that. If I want to cut it in with sugar, then I can have both a sugar and a salt base. So it's sort of a blend. It's like I can make my own sugar from the spice, but I can't make spice if I buy it with the sugar already, if that makes sense. So what this is this is 50% of the salt-based rub, and then I add 50% brown sugar to it. I cut the salt spice rub with brown sugar, and that's what I like to do. And I just throw it in a little grinder or a chopping device like a Ninja food chopper, and just make sure it's nice and powdery from the brown sugar, because the brown sugar can clump up. So I like to do that, and then we're just going to sprinkle this liberally on the chicken. Get inside the wings here, under the legs, and now we're also going to do the underside here. Again, get on the legs, and really that's all there is to it. What we'll do now is I'll take this out to the pellet grill, and we'll get this baby going. So really that's all you need to do. Cut the backbone out, maybe cut the wishbone to make it easier, and then put your dry rub on both sides. And now we're just going to go out there and get our grill going. So I'll meet you outside. Okay everybody, here we are at the pellet grill. I have our chicken that we put our dry rub on and we spatchcocked it. I want to cover a couple of things here as long as I'm out here. Number one, the first thing I do is I filled up our hopper with pellets at the top. I always like to top it off before I do any barbecuing to make sure we don't run out in the middle of a cook. And I have it on this Cabela's pellet grill, which is made by Camp Chef. This one has a low smoke and a high smoke mode. I'm using the high smoke mode. That'll produce high amounts of smoke at about 220 degrees. Another thing I'm going to do is, I think I'll use a smoke tube. If you haven't used one of these, a lot of people use these to add more smoke. Some people say pellet grills don't produce enough smoke to their liking, so I'll just demonstrate how to use one of these. What you do is you take the pellets out of your hopper or out of the bag and put some in here. Now the full tube I think will last up to 12 hours, they claim. I typically do it maybe half or 3/4 full because I'm not going to do this for 12 hours, only a few hours. And the way I like to light this is with a heat gun, and I'll show you that. I also have our rub to put more rub on here. And I'm going to show some wireless barbecue temperature probes. So I have a lot of things to show you, so stay tuned here. Now, first things first, let's put our chicken on the grill. Now I'm going to use these neoprene coated gloves. There's a taunt in there. And just take this, right there like that. Real simple. Now, I'm also going to take this opportunity to put some more dry rub on any spots where I might have missed it, not gotten thoroughly coated. I see on the legs I could use a little bit more. There. That's about it. Let me get this out of the way. Now the next thing I'll do is show you how to use the smoke tube. I'm going to put a high temperature glove on. This one's good to about 900 degrees. And we have just a standard heat gun. It has 2 heat settings. I'm going to put it on the higher heat setting. And let's name it at our pellets. And this should start smoking fairly quickly. Might take a minute or so. I like to use this instead of a torch. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but we already have smoke coming out of here. In a few more seconds it should start flaming. Yeah, I can already see the red hot pellets. You gotta let it burn a little bit. You gotta get it started, or it'll go right out. So you want to get it to at least when it starts to flame. There, it just ignited. Just set that in the back. Put our heat gun here. So that takes care of that. Now, the final thing I want to show you, and that should go out in a minute or so. The final thing I want to show you is the wireless thermometers. So, our temperature probes. So this is a nice little unit. Uses an application on your phone called the Easy BBQ that you can download. And this unit handles 6 probes. I'm only using 4 right now. In fact, you really only need 1, but I'm going to use 4 probes. Why? Because I have them. And I'm going to put 1 in each thigh and 1 in each breast. And I want to make sure that I hit 165, a minimum 165 in every probe. So you just plug in your probes. I'll plug them in the chicken. Let me get one of these gloves again. So I'll just, maybe I'll put this one in the leg. Put this one in the breast. Okay. That takes care of one side. Now I'll do the same for the other side. Put one on this breast. Put one. There. So now I have 4 probes, and this will alternate through the readings on all 4 probes on the unit itself. But the nice part is that on your phone, and I'm not going to show this on camera with the sunlight, it's too hard, but on the Easy BBQ app, it's going to show the 4 temperature readings, and I can take a preset for each one. So I'm going to set each probe for chicken, and that will alarm me when that probe hits 165. So I will take this off when all four probes alarm me. That tells me that every part of that chicken is 165 degrees and it's done. So I really like that. And the smoke tube, they work great. I just want to show you those along with this cook. So I'm going to let this go at this lower smoke mode probably the whole time. 220 degrees, lots of smoke, and it will probably take an hour and a half or 2 hours or so. But we're not cooking by time, we're cooking by temperature. It's relatively cold out here today. It's not quite grilling season. It's probably just a little bit above freezing right now. So that's, makes it a little bit harder to keep the temperatures typically, since I don't have a grill blanket. But I don't think that would be a problem. But I'm just letting you know the conditions, so it's not a summer day, it's a cool spring day. So I'll bring you back here when the temperature probes all signal 165. Okay everybody, we're back. It's been about 2.5 hours total. After about the first hour and a half, I came out here and I turned it up to 250. It was originally on the 220 high smoke mode, and after an hour and a half then I switched it to the 250 mode, and for another hour, so a total of 2.5 hours. 1.5 220, and then 1 hour at 250. And it's starting to get a little cooler out here, that's why I bumped it up. So anyway, it looks and smells delicious. All my probes went off. The legs will always go off first, and it's the breast, which is really what you're waiting for. So if you only have one temperature probe, so if you only use the one built-in probe, or if you only have a single temperature probe, always put it in the deepest part of the breast, because that's really what takes the longest to get up the temp. So, the juice was squirting out when I pulled that probe out there. See if I can get that up to the camera there. I don't know. Can you see that? It looks delicious. The skin is nice and crispy, and I can see the juices on top and starting to drip out. So I'm going to take it inside and cover it. So let's go inside and take a look at this. Okay, we're back in the kitchen. You saw me take it off the grill and bring it in here. All I did was, since I brought it in, was I just put some foil on it and left it rest for about, 15-20 minutes. And now we'll take the foil off. And we let it rest so the juices come back into it. Just like with any meat that you make. You want to let it rest a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put on this cutting board and hold it up to the camera. You can see some of the juices coming out as we're just sitting there resting. But now look at this. Look how beautiful golden brown that turned out. Nothing but the dry rub. I didn't put any extra barbecue sauce. How much you surely can, and even when you eat it you can put some barbecue sauce on the side. But this was just dry rubbed. And 2.5 hours, hour and a half 220 high smoke, 1 hour at 250, and that's because it started to get cold outside. I believe we're under 30 degrees outside right now. So I just bumped up the temperature a little bit to get it done. And it's nice and golden brown. So now, let me give it a taste test. Maybe I'll try, one thing, for presentation purposes, spatchcocking is why I would do it. The other option is you could just as easily split it and make 2 separate halves right from the beginning. And you can surely do that. You could do that now to serve it, or you could, just up to you if you want to leave it as one or cut it into 2 halves and serve it that way. So I may just take a leg off of here and give that a try. Now if you see pink or anything in this, remember we cooked it to temperature and we smoked it. So smoke will add a pink tint to the meat. Just like when you get a smoke ring on a brisket or pork shoulder. So if you see some pink in here, it doesn't mean it's not cooked. In fact, I made sure every probe read at least 165. The deepest part of the breast read at least 165 before it was tented. It'll typically climb up to 5 degrees after it's tented. The legs were reading more like 180. And if they start to get too brown for you when you're doing that, you can always wrap these in foil. Wrap your legs or your wings in foil after they hit the 165 so they don't get overdone if you want to. So don't worry about that if you see some pink in here. As long as you always cook at the temperature, you're safe. That's why you always should cook the temperature and not the time. Okay, we cut a little bit off of there. golden brown skin. Smells delicious. The dry rub mixed with the sugar. I like to do that combination of the spices mixed with the brown sugar. It gives you a little bit of spiciness and sweetness. We'll try one more piece. Very good. One more piece, why not? I had it cut. Very tender, delicious, and you can see, you know, from the juices that were on the pan, and even on the board here, if I just move this. In fact, you know what I'll do for the camera here? Let me just take this off the board and just show you, just from me cutting off the leg, all the extra juices that are still. Can you see all the juices still on this board? I don't want to make a mess. So this chicken is extremely juicy. So I don't think that amount of time would dry it out. It's all because the temperature was low. We kept it nice and low. So I highly recommend you try this technique, spatchcocking with a dry rub on a pellet grill. We also use the smoke tube that you saw me ignite with the hot air gun. I like to do it that way instead of a torch. It's easy and simple and fairly safe. One other thing I want to show you. I talked about the temperature probes, and I wanted to show you, here's the unit itself, and I'll take 3 probes on the side, and before I put it away, the probes wind up on these reels. You have 6 of them, and I wanted to show you real quick what it's like, just in case you're unfamiliar with this type of probe. This is what the probe looks like. It's fairly long. I'd say, what's that, 3 foot or better. So what happens is these little reels that they're on, this is how it comes packaged and you store it. So what you do is the probe just clips into this little reel, like so, and then you wind it. And that way your cords aren't getting tangled and are broken, because probes tend to be a little fragile. And just snaps in there, and there you have it. That's how you put your probes away. You know, and then clean them up after you pull it out. I've cleaned all these up, naturally. And, you put your unit in here. Now it's ready for next time. So, it's a really nice little unit. I know there's a couple of different brands of these. This one uses the Easy BBQ app on your phone. I have an Android phone. I believe they also have it for iPhone. You can double check. But I really like that product. Highly recommend that. The smoke tube works great too if you want more smoke. And what more can I say? Here it is. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you'd like to see more like it, please press the thumbs up or like, subscribe buttons. Leave a comment if you thought this was delicious, if you'd like to see more videos like this, what else you'd like to see me cook. And thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. This is some delicious chicken.